Hi, this is a school bell, and I made a video about it a couple months ago showing how I refurbished it and made it work, made it ring. So I'll plug it in and make it ring again. Ta-da! And I found another one. But this one is in worse shape. See, there's stuff on it that probably didn't come from a school child. And I broke the bolt when I was taking it off. So I'm just going to open this up on camera and we'll discover what's inside. I have a feeling it's completely different. See, this here is the striker, and it's completely different than this. Let's look at this real quick. See, there's these two solenoids, and when the AC current runs through them, it pulls this little rocker up and down, which is connected to the clanger, the striker. So that is different. That looks like a completely different thing. So I'm going to open this up, and we will find out together how this other school bell is made. It's pretty nasty. So I'm going to clean this first. Interesting to see. It's an alarm device. Made in where? Syosset, New York? And that's the top, obviously, because that's where the poop fell. So I'm going to drill the rest of this bolt out. There's the bottom. I'll clean this more thoroughly later after I take this off. That way I'll submerge it. But first, we'll drill it out. Okay, that's more or less in the center. Wobbling. I might have to drill the whole thing out and then re-tap it. Yeah. It wobbled. Even though I made that little hole right there, it just wobbled right on over. So that's a problem, isn't it? Yes, it is. Let me see if I can take this off and see what it looks like on the bottom. Oh. So I used WD-40 for that because I want to break up the rust. And people use it for all sorts of things. They use it to lubricate hinges and wheels, rollers and chains and gears. It says that it does all this stuff. But when you look at it, when you look at the instructions or the history of it online, you learn that that this WD-40 is water displacement, and they do list it here. Displaces moisture, but it was a water displacement oil that they used for military purposes, for coating their surfaces of their missiles and rockets. Not to lubricate them.
As you can see, I've been doing a little bit of research on the internet just to provide you with some resources, but the basic information is that it's best used as a penetrating oil, something that'll free up the rust. When you use it as a lubricant, it tends to attract dirt and leaves behind additives and greasy stuff that you don't really need. And also it kind of ruins some plastics too. But it's good for lots of stuff. Like I found it's good as a cutting oil when you're trying to drill into aluminum, for example. But as you'll see, it didn't quite even work as a penetrant for me this time.
Hey, that didn't work. Yeah. I'll let that sit. That'll work. Well, I have seen people heat this stuff up, so maybe I'll try that. Yep, it's coming. Oh, I broke the head off of that one too. Beautiful. But at least now we can take a look at what's inside. Okay. So, based on my extensive knowledge of bells, it's very similar. It's so similar to that other one. This is one solenoid instead of two, and it looks like it this part here is the stopper. I don't want to touch it because it's hot, hot, hot. But it looks like this is the part that, ouch, even through my glove, that shakes. I'm going to vacuum this out as soon as it cools off. So I'm going to pause for a second. And let's pretend that's not from the pigeons. Actually, I think it's just corrosion from this metal. Anyway, I'm going to pause and let that cool off, and then I'll be right back. Yeah, and there's this spring here. Wow, the spring still seems kind of springy, actually. Amazingly. Looks like taking this off will release this whole mechanism from the inside. And I should probably do that if I'm going to clean out this whole thing. And I might as well try to clean it out. It's really corroded. And if I do that, maybe I'd be able to clean off some of these contacts. I will try, but well, actually, I don't know. So this little screw here probably goes right up through the center of that inductor. I'm calling it an inductor. It's just a spool with wire wrapped around it, and then one end goes out here and one goes there, and it's connected to this, so that one end goes through and around and then wiggles this and makes this go up and down, and it strikes the bell. Pretty simple. It's pretty, actually it's pretty, the whole thing is rusty, so I'll have to oil it if I want to get it to move at all. I'm just debating about whether taking this off is a wise idea, considering my luck so far. And then there's this. Actually, just to find out if this works at all, I'm just going to strip the end of these wires and plug it in and see if anything happens. That would be, I think, the most interesting thing to do. So I'm going to pull back. Let's see what happens. That is what happens. Let's look at it a little closer. Wow. That is pretty impressive. So the story is this is an AC power source, and you adjust how many volts by adjusting this. And I had it up to 90 because I didn't think, because the last one did 90%. The last one used all of the volts, and so I just thought that's what it would be like. But apparently I'm only using 20% of the power, and it's doing what. But if I turn it up anymore, it just causes sparks to fly. Going back down. I'm going down to 10% now. Not enough. There. That's 12%. See, there's still a little spark in there. That's interesting, huh? All right. Well, now I know. I know something. I don't know what I know yet, but it moves when I flip a switch. That's what I know. I think I will try to clean it up. See what else happens. And you're witnessing. Ha. Well, I have cleaned up this alarm striker module, I guess you'd call it, and I filled in that void I created by misdrilling, and I used JB Weld. You see, and it is rock hard, and I even I tapped it to make a nice even thread. So now now the new bolt goes in, and on the inside cleaned it up nice and pretty, put new wires in, and oiled it up, and even tried to clean the rust off of the parts that would be contacting electrical currents, and that was partly what was causing all that spark, was the missed contacts. But in the process of doing that, I just kind of messed it up a little bit. And I also think that this used to be springier when it was young, and now it's not so springy. And also, this spring is really at the end of its life. It's very rusty and not so springy. So it's sad news. It doesn't quite work the way it should. But interestingly, I also, if you remember, this was coated with pigeon poop also, and this had been painted. I have a picture of it. As I was stripping the paint off, I didn't take pictures of all this stuff because it's already a long video. But underneath all that paint, I discovered what this is. And I found information online about what it is.
And on the internet's e-commerce site, look, there's the bell itself. Somebody's selling it for $52. And back here behind it, look right there. See at the end of that striker, there's a little bopper. So that might be fun to make out of wood, maybe.
And I even found out that it's not AC activated at all. It's 4 to 6 DC with only a little bit of amperage. So, interesting. It's very interesting. So now I have my DC power supply, and I've connected it to this guy, and it functions much smoother than before. I'll turn it on and show you. You'll see why I think this is not working at its optimal. So I'm going to hold it. Be not alarmed. I've been holding it a lot, and it's not grounding to this case. Just in case, though, I've been using this little piece of fiberboard to manipulate it, because see this? See how it moves? That's natural and that's proper, because it's part of how that little piece gets point. I'll point with something there. How this little piece here connects with this little piece here. And there's a spring here that kind of moves this up and down in response to this moving this piece. You will see this in action as I demonstrate. Turning it on. Be not afraid, that is a dog. There. Very gentle, very gentle. Not so dramatic as before. So when that when this comes in contact with the bell, it does make a nice, very pleasing bell sound. I'll try to demonstrate that. See, this hole connects in the center there. So when this is all assembled, that'll make a nice pleasing sound. If the contact is made, I'm not going to point that. If the contact is made regularly, it even gets more powerful when you kind of jiggle it a little more. But I'm going to assemble this and put a switch on it, and then we'll play with it a little bit more. But I'm not optimistic. I think I screwed it up by cleaning it, which is too bad. I might still get it to work, but I probably won't. So, okay, I am a happy man. I managed to get this to ring reliably every time I push the button, and I didn't think I could. And also, I did make a little bopper there for the end, and I made another one. I'm going to test them out to see what kind I like. This one, I left a hole in the bottom so it goes all the way through, because maybe I want to make a little louder sound. I'll explain what I mean. I'll plug it in here. Plugging it in. And here we go. Cool, huh? Here, I'll show you. Oh, yeah. Now, the funny thing is, even though this says, what does it say? Even though it gives these voltages here in DC, I couldn't reliably get it to work with that. So what I wound up doing was, I went back to my AC voltage controller, and I realized that if I turned it down to about 30 to 20%, I'd get a reliable ring. So I went through my collection of transformers, and I found one that has about that much voltage, and tested it, and it it worked. So I can't explain why this works on AC voltage. I could test it. Let's see, turn on the AC and show ya. Let's see if I could just zoom in a little closer. So that's putting about 26 volts AC into this. Yeah, I can't explain why, even though it says this is rated as 16 volts on either side. I guess that makes sense because there's a little voltage drop. But yeah, so that's a happy thing. And when I mount this on a board, it'll make a nice pretty sound. Here, let me see if I can make it. Ta-dum! So that's the end of that.